last video, that's all you was gonna get. But no, I feel, let me go into a little bit of detail, right? Your son, you know, my baby daddy, I loved him, yes. And you're right, my world did kind of shatter a little bit when I found out about that. And yes, once again, I was in love with a punk. I was in love with a punk. I'm not ashamed of it. If I was ashamed of it, I would have never got on this internet and told people. Never. And I've told this story on live, still never putting a name on it. I just kept referring to my baby daddy. But let's get into it back. Since you said that your son was in love with the trans girl, he wasn't. Now, I don't have receipts for this because this was a verbal, face-to-face type thing. What is it, baby? Here. There you go. No, he wasn't. He wasn't in love with that girl. When I told him, I called him. Because I said, it's been a little long. And yes, I did feel as he cheated on me. And he never told me that he didn't. Every time I told him, I said, you cheated on me. You cheated on me, because this was not the first time we had broke up before. That wasn't the first time. And that was the second to last time before I put him out. We'll get into that one in this video too. We only got 10 minutes on here, so I'm going to try to speed it up. When I called him back to my house when I put him out, when he did get with me with that transgender, did you know that he was on Grindr? I found this out from the girl. He was on Grindr for about 2 weeks in my house. And 2 weeks in my house, looking for, I'm guessing, a man, a trans, whatever the fuck he was looking for. We know what Grindr's about. Under my nose, I did not know shit. I really didn't. The relationship, it was never dead. It was never over. Because if it was, the man wouldn't have never came back. But I missed him. I said, I want him back. I want him to come back. Now, I didn't know where he went, right? I get on the phone. I'm calling him. You know, he comes back because he did have some stuff, some important paperwork he needed to get. And I believe like a couple clothes he had left, some stuff that I wanted him to come get. He comes, and when he comes, I open the door. I give him his stuff, and I try to send him on his way. Do you know that your son stood outside my door? He stood out there for about a good 10 minutes. I walk back into my house. I tell him, okay, bye. I walk back into my house. I stay in my house for like 5 minutes. I come back out. He's still standing at my door. Just sad. Sad as fuck. Standing at my door. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? He said, can I have a hug? I gave him a hug. Yes, you're right. Like you've been saying, I was in love with a punk. Still love him to this day. Just because I'm sharing my story don't mean that I didn't love my baby daddy, your son. Anyways. I give him the hug. We hug him for a long ass time. I tried to let go multiple times. He didn't want to let go. And we finally broke free. And I told him, I said, go back to the girl that you with. Because in my mind, I was still under the impression that he had went and he was with a girl. He didn't have none of his stuff in his car, which means that he unloaded at somebody's house. But in my mind, I'm still thinking it was a woman. I'm still thinking it was a woman who he was with. He wouldn't leave my yard. So I'm sitting up here telling him, I'm just like what we gonna do? Like, what's going on? We then so far get into the car, and he's crying. Then that's when I find out, he tells me the name. I'm not gonna say her name. Because she shouldn't have nothing to do with this. Yes, she's in the story, but I wasn't sharing her name. He tells me that he was with her. I'm thinking, oh, that's a stripper, because that's kind of a stripper name. I said, well, damn, why you crying? Like, I even asked him, I said, did you get a bitch pregnant or something? And the weeks that you was gone, did you get a bitch pregnant? Like, what's going on? And so when he came to realize that I'm still thinking it was a woman, he started to cry even harder. And I was like, tell me, what the fuck is going on? Like, who are you with? Who are you with? He then proceeds to tell me that it was a crossdresser. And I said, you was fucking a man? He started crying even harder. But I was like, okay. So, like, what's going on? And your son, from his mouth, told me that he wanted to be with me. While you're saying that I'm bitter, and when I found out that he was so-called in love with the trans woman, you know, I want a relationship. The things. Your son told me that he wanted to be with me. We went over there to get his shit. His car was still at my house. We went over there to get his shit. And he changed his mind. When we got over there, we all got out the car. Sitting over there, we're talking. I meet the lady. You know, we side hugged. There was no beef between us. Both of our issue was with him. She even talking to him. She even punched your son dead in the goddamn jaw. Damn near knocked him out his shoes. I don't know. And then he got into the house to go get his shit because at that point he was still coming back with me because that's what he told me, right? He was coming back with me. That's what he told me before we got over there. He went in the house. I don't know what the fuck occurred in that house. But I'm pretty sure she beat the fuck out of him. Because he came back kind of disheveled, disgruntled. He gets in the car and was like, I'm going to stay here. I said, stay here? No. You already told me. You told me we have a relationship. You don't know her. You probably liked it over there because you were able to smoke weed and lay up and not do shit. You know, me, I was trying to push you to be better. I'm trying to tell you, you need to get a job. To the point of where I'm over here, you know, trying to be a good girlfriend, trying to help him look for jobs. Now, I wasn't going to fill out no goddamn application because you're a grown-ass man. But trying to help him find jobs. I'm over here taking care of you. I'm doing it. We have a real relationship going. Had been together for a few months at this point. He goes in the house. I assume that he's been beat the fuck up or something because he comes back out to the car just disheveled, shaking all this, talking about something he wants to stay. How you change your tune from you wanted to stay with me to now you want to stay with him, with her? And your son was never in love. I even asked her. I said, did he ever tell you that he loved you? She told me no. She also told me that all he ever did was talk about wanting to be with me, how we could work it out, all these things. But you know, that's okay. So yes, he had already told me that he wanted to be with me. So I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. Then you're going to be with me. You're not. And yes, tensions were boiling. Can you imagine? Can you imagine finding that out? And then he said he still wanted to be with me. He really wanted to be with me. So yes, my baby, my boyfriend, my man at the time told me that he wanted to be with me. Now he went into that house and he's now singing a different tune. So we get down the street. I said, okay, you want to stay. I'm going to call your mama and let her know that you're gay. Which I did. You know I did. You told us that we needed to stop arguing in front of my baby. All that good not. You know, good advice you were giving. Cool. You also told me that I should love myself, which I did. Hence why I didn't spend years with your son. I was just trying to work on it. You know how it is being in love. You know how it was when you were with his dad, who you also told me used to beat the fuck out you. I could have told you to love yourself in that instance, but you know, he was beating on you before the baby. You still had a baby. Your son never put hands on me. He tried to buck up on me once. That was it though, never again. And let me just add this in here real quick, right at the end. You never told me to stop putting your son out. You know, if you really cared about your son so much, you would have came up here to El Paso, like the same way you did after he died, to clean up his blood. You would have came to El Paso and drug him the fuck back out there with you, but you didn't do that. When your son came back to me, we was trying to work it out. Boom. We got into an argument. He thought I was going to pay for his weed. He thought I was going to pay for his weed. And I think I'm going to have to make a part 3 on this because I don't have much time. But the last and very final time I kicked your son out, it's because, you know, your son actually told me that he hoped that I blew up in my car, knowing that I was pregnant with his son, know that I take my daughter everywhere. So he wished death upon all of us. He got so mad and did that. I told him, I said, you know what, bro, I can't take it no more. You got to get out. He proceeded to throw a bag, about a 1 pound little hygiene bag, and it went past my daughter's head like boom. I ran to the kitchen and I grabbed one of these. You know, it's TikTok. I grabbed one of these and I told him that I was going to, you know, do that to him. He ran out the house. I proceeded to get my phone back, which he had. I'm going to have to make a part 3. Let me make a part 3. And hold on. I said in the last video that that's all you was going to get.